Bight Bay is on Joost Van Dyke. Now, most often you've probably heard it just referred to as Soggy Dollar Bar because Bight Bay is the home of Soggy Dollar Bar. Really good place to grab something to eat. You can experience their famous drink, which is called the Painkiller. But personally, I like the banana bender the most. But they're all awesome, and they put fresh nutmeg on it. Really good stuff. Now, the way that I recommend going to Soggy Dollar Bar, and I'm going to base my directions within this video coming from St. John. The best way that I feel to experience Soggy Dollar Bar is to catch the early morning ferry over from St. John, and then catch the ferry back at the end of the day. It's easy to get there'll be taxis waiting at the ferry dock, and it's easy to get a taxi at the end of the day from Bight Bay back to the ferry dock as well. So I would definitely take the ferry there. That way you can maximize your time, and you're not spending for a charter and only being able to enjoy a few minutes at Soggy Dollar Bar when you go to other places as well. Sandy Spits in the British Virgin Islands. It's just basically a tiny piece of sand. It's not far from Joost. Now, it's accessible by boat only. And there's someone that I recommend out of St. John. It's Palm Tree Charters, Captain John. If you book a trip with Captain John at Palm Tree Charters, this is definitely a stop that I would recommend making. It's a really nice white and soft sand beach, and it's just out in the middle of the water. It's really cool, unlike any other island in the Virgin Islands. This is Hawksnest Bay. It's a great place to take a cooler and just relax and spend the day. So basically, to get to Hawksnest Bay, all that you'll do, coming from Cruz Bay in St. John, you'll go past Mongoose Junction, go up the hill into the National Forest, and you'll see a sign on the left that says Hawksnest Bay. Now, I recommend getting there kind of early because, like most of the beaches in the National Forest, the parking tends to fill up somewhat quickly. And when you're parking your Jeep, if you're parking on the road instead of the parking lot, always be sure that your tires are not crossing the white line, because if they're crossing the white line alongside the road, they'll probably give you a ticket. Morningstar Beach is on St. Thomas. Now, typically I'll go to Morningstar on my arrival day or departure day, because I always fly into Cyril E. King Airport in St. Thomas. But it's a nice beach. There's some waves. There's a couple of good places to eat there. You know, good lunch, good good beach food, that sort of thing. Their jerk chicken wrap's really good. And you may also commonly hear this beach referred to as the Marriott Beach, because it's, when you're looking at the video right now, that resort at the top of the hill, that's Marriott Frenchman's. Honeymoon Beach is easily accessible from St. John. Now it is sort of a hike, so if you're not arriving by boat, and actually I recommend if you're staying on St. John just to take your Jeep there, you'll go to where it says Caneel Bay. It's going to be on your left after you enter the National Forest, and it'll say $20 to park. And actually, unless they change their policy, typically what they'll do, they'll credit you that $20 if you spend $20 or more in Caneel Bay. So basically all you do is go through that guard shack and park, and be sure to buy you lunch or something like that. They'll deliver sandwiches down to Honeymoon Beach for you. So that's what we did. We did that, and then that enabled us to be credited for the $20 parking. But when you get there and you park, it's quite a long hike. So you're going to go on the edge of Caneel Bay Resort, and then you're going to go down this long hill. And when you get to the bottom of the hill, you'll be at Honeymoon Beach. And it's definitely worth the walk to spend the day at Honeymoon Beach. And I would definitely do it by way of Jeep instead of taking a sailboat or powerboat there. Cinnamon Bay is located on St. John in the National Forest. Again, you'll just go past Mongoose Junction into the National Forest, and you'll see a sign on the left that says Cinnamon Bay. Again, probably want to get there early because parking does tend to fill up quickly. But Cinnamon Bay is a great place to paddleboard, kayak, snorkel. Well, the snorkeling's all right, but it's mainly for powerboarding, kayaking, Hobie cats. It's a really nice place to spend the day, and they have restrooms and a restaurant down there, so it's definitely a get there early and leave before sunset kind of place. This is the scenic overlook of Caneel Bay. Caneel Bay is right next to Honeymoon Beach, but Caneel Bay is reserved for resort guests only. So if you want to hang out on the beach at Caneel Bay, you're going to need to stay at Caneel Bay Resort. Now it's a really nice resort, and they also have quite possibly the best restaurant on the island there. It's called Zozo's. So definitely eat at Zozo's if you want to have a really good dinner while you're staying in St. John. You won't regret it. This is Leinster Bay on St. John. So if you go into the National Forest and you follow the signs to the Annaberg Sugar Mill, there'll be a parking lot there. And when you park there, you can walk alongside the coast, and that'll take you to Leinster Bay. And if you continue walking around the bay, you'll be in front of Watermelon Cay, which is a tiny island right off the coast of St. John, and it's a great snorkeling spot. There's a lot of lobster and tropical fish to be seen there. Trunk Bay is probably the most popular and well-known beach on St. John. It's in the National Forest. Now, if you want to go there, you definitely want to get there early, and you want to check the cruise ship schedule, because a lot of times the cruise ships will come into, their guests will come over to Trunk Bay, and it can get really crowded. So get there early if you want to do it. Snorkeling is one of the best things at Trunk Bay. The little island that you see out there behind me in the just right off the coast, it's actually a guided snorkeling thing. They've got plaques on the bottom of the sand, on top of the sand rather, so you can read fun facts about the fish and the coral. It's a really cool place. If you only snorkel one time when you're in the Virgin Islands, this would be one of the top places, unless you're going by boat and you go to the Indians. The Indians is really cool, but it's a boat only destination. This is Sprang Bay on the island of Virgin Gorda in the British Virgin Islands. Now check the ferry schedule, because the ferry typically only runs here about once or twice a week. But the best thing to do is take that morning ferry over from St. John. As soon as you get off at the ferry dock, there'll be a ton of taxis. Just tell the taxi that you want to go to Devil's Bay and the Bass. And when you tell them that, they'll drop you off at the top of the Bass. It's like a restaurant, really good food there. And then you can walk down, you can crawl through the Bass, those rock formations, and you can check out this beach as well as Devil's Bay as well. This is Devil's Bay. Again, I recommend going to Virgin Gorda by way of ferry from St. John. So be sure to check that ferry schedule, because typically it only runs once or twice a week, but it's easy to get a taxi from the ferry dock in Virgin Gorda, as well as get a taxi back to the ferry dock in Virgin Gorda at the end of the day. So definitely worth seeing, but do it by way of ferry. That's my recommendation. Pirates Bight is located on Norman Island in the British Virgin Islands, and it's accessible by boat only. And what I would recommend Palm Tree Charters from St. John. Captain John at Palm Tree Charters. This will be one of the stops that you can choose, and I definitely recommend their Bushwhacker. It was quite possibly the best drink that I had while I was in the Virgin Islands. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found the video tour to be entertaining. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me a message directly. You can go to IrixGuy.com, and I'll do my best to answer. Quite familiar with the Virgin Islands, so I can, I'll do my best to answer any questions you may have. And also, please share this video with others, and y'all have a good day.